It's Monday, and oh, I would have been here on time, except for I've been dealing with chickens. I know. Rob left the gate open, and so I was trying to wrangle chickens to get in, and I wasn't having good luck. And I decided, well, I'll just deal with the six that are out later and come in and do my life. Good morning, Venetia. Okay. So, the Monday motivational quote for today is, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about getting up, right? I mean, we've heard several versions of that quote. And I have this opportunity that I'm working on. I've been working with a big company to come up with some sort of project to work on together. And we've pitched each other ideas back and forth. After, you know, I pitched them one and then that deal fell through. So ever since then, we've been really trying to come up with some sort of program or project basically to work on together. And nothing has really sparked interest until this last month. We've kind of come up with a plan, and it makes me a little nervous just because, all of the people that they're kind of looking at to compare, they have these followings that are, 300,000 people, or they've been in the industry a really long time, and, they have big followings and, you know, quilts, and just they've done amazing things. And I feel like I'm not into that caliber yet, but I also wonder, when do you take those sorts of leaps? Do you just take them, that leap of faith, hoping that it's a success and that it does what you need it to do? Or do you just take it, and then if you fail, you learn the lessons along the way and you then figure out what to do better? And, I tend to do that most of the time, is take the leap and know that it's a calculated risk. And but I do those on my own and in my own business, and I don't have a partnership, and I'm not with some company, and I don't feel like, I am losing a whole lot. But then when you work with somebody else, I kind of worry about, how big of a failure that is going to be. And if I fail at that level, does it give me a black mark in the industry, or does it do something, like, how much is that going to affect me? But then I can't live in fear. So you just have to, like, every once in a while take that leap and um not worry about failure, right? Um so good morning, Carl. Good morning, Rita. Good morning, Christine. Right. So um I'll only know if I try. And so I keep going through that in my mind. And um but it's hard when you are partnering with a big company, and you know I don't know what the expectations are. I mean, I will by the time the contract is signed, and all of that, of course. But I, you know, wonder if they believe in me more than I believe in myself, I guess, because um that's very difficult to um digest a little bit. I kind of like working in my studio doing, what I'm doing because I know the results that I'm going to get from that, right? So it's um it's difficult to uh take those risks on many levels, I guess, but at some point you just have to do it and believe that there's something greater or some reason that you have to do it. And so anyway, I'm taking that leap knowing that I could fail, but also knowing that I'll just get up 100% of the time, right? I will figure out what went wrong, or maybe I jumped too soon, or all of those things, because I think I have a habit of really dragging my feet, um, and then making a move. Like buying a car for me is ridiculous because I'll like research something for 5 years before I, take that leap. And it drives my husband crazy, but it drives me crazy that as soon as he has the money, he'll go start looking right away and he'll just buy whatever the first thing is that he sees. And I'm just like, no, like, why aren't you like researching absolutely everything and trying to figure out what it is that you really want? And, but I guess that's the balance of us, really. So, um, and Carl says that he's still there with Rob and Andrew. Oh, so they're at a retreat at Stitch in Heaven. So I know that they've been having fun because I talked to them over the weekend. And Danish says, "Good morning. Today is a blank canvas. Let's paint it with bold colors and make it amazing." Absolutely. And Lynn says, "Good morning." And absolutely right. You can take help, but not the partnership. And Rita says, "Preparing new quilts and patterns. You are great." And Rang says, "Hi, good morning here in India. It's 9:39 p.m. So we are about 12 hours apart." So, um, so yes, I posted a little video last week about some little wool trees that I was preparing because, I'm heading on a cruise to Alaska this week. So I won't be here for a live, I think the next 2 Mondays. I will be in Alaska next Monday, and then I think we arrive home the following Sunday. So I don't know what my situation will be 2 Mondays from now. So I'm just going to say it'll be a surprise if I'm here in 2 Mondays, but I will not be here next Monday for sure. So um, we I'm teaching on a Stitch in Heaven cruise, actually. So we're heading to Alaska, and I'm taking my husband with me. One of my besties is going, and she's taking her granddaughter. And then I have some other friends from Ephrata that are going. So it's going to be really fun. I think I'm going to have to do a lot of work according to my Stitch in Heaven schedule, but still, I have the port days that will be free. But at least Rob gets a vacation so he can relax and not work on the house or work or anything. So, but before, I wanted to like have a hand stitching project for traveling and for when I am just kind of having downtime on this ship. So I put together this little video. It's on YouTube too, of how I just kind of put those trees together. But I started working on it already, and now I know I'm probably gonna finish it on the ship. So I put together another one. Just because. And it looks like this. So it is brightly colored trees, and I'll probably just use white thread to decorate them, so that's an easy travel project. And so that's been kind of fun to get stitched up. I also wanted to share, in case you guys didn't see, but I was on the Quilter on Fire podcast last Tuesday. It dropped. So that was kind of interesting. It's always kind of, but I felt like I talked and shared a lot on that. It was recorded so many months ago that I kind of forgot everything that I had shared. And so when I heard it, it was new to me as well, because I kind of had forgotten everything. So, and Lynn says, I agree with Rita. Yes. So I had that, and then I'm getting a really good turnout for the Little Pink Homestead sew along. So if you wanted to join in on that, the first block will land the first Tuesday in September in your inbox if you've signed up, and then the videos will be on YouTube every Friday. And then I did finish the videos for Nature Walk. I wasn't planning on doing a sew along or anything, an extra one, because Little Pink Homestead I knew was just going to be a big project, but through the course of everything, that became my 500th pattern. I just couldn't not do something special. So I have that listed for a $5 download. If you just want the pattern, it's $5 until the middle of April, but then I'm going to be dropping a video every day for, I think, 12 days, 11 or 12 days in September, if you wanted to sew along, because some of those blocks are kind of difficult. So I show how to make all of the blocks, but I love the quilt. It's totally my style. I just love everything about it. So um I wanted to gift that out, because 500 patterns is pretty amazing, and I wouldn't have 500 patterns if um I didn't have the business to keep, you know, putting out patterns for people supporting me and buying my patterns. So I wanted to put that out as a thank you, and you guys can all follow along for the sew along, or just take advantage of the discount for that pattern. It's a pretty cute pattern, and I have 2 of the samples finished. I have to bind one of the samples, and then I'll be finishing the 3rd sample today on the long arm. So I'll get that one bound, and then I'll take photos. I was hoping to have all of that done over the weekend, but I kind of had a busy weekend. We found out our chickens had lice, so we had to spend 3 to 4 hours bathing them on Saturday night, and that always just kind of takes it out of you. So if I had 10 chickens, it probably wouldn't be a big deal, but when you have 30, almost 40 chickens, it becomes a bigger task. But they all are looking a little better today, and I mean, I think they're feeling better for sure, and so I'm happy about that. My poor Hot Wings, the rooster, he was attacked by 2 other roosters earlier in the year, and his tail has just never recovered. He might get like 1 or 2 of his big long feathers that come out, but his hind end has like never really recovered from that, and I feel bad. But he's such a good rooster, and he's so nice, and so I don't know. He just isn't going to look as beautiful and bushy-tailed as most, but that's okay. So, what else do we have going on? Really, it's just about this week is getting everything ready. Our daughter came over on Saturday to kind of learn the layout of the land so that she could take care of everything while we're gone. She's going to stay here her last day of work is on Thursday, so she will just be here during the day, taking care of everybody because she's moving to Seattle. So she was able to kind of plan it to have her last day of work here, and then she'll take a couple weeks off, stay here, get packed, and then move to Seattle. She's um, moving over there for a short amount of time, and you know, so we'll see kind of what happens. She has a job over there already, and Roger says, "Good morning, Chrisma. Running with Ethernet problems here this morning." Oh, I understand how that works, and um, so our internet is very unstable. People ask me to do like Zoom lectures and Zoom workshops, and I'm just like, I can't. I really, really can't, because sometimes I can get through these lives and I can get through a Zoom meeting because I can use my phone data as a backup. But to do some sort of lecture or something, there's days here where like our internet will work for 20 minutes and then it just randomly shuts off. And then you turn it on, it will work for 20 minutes and then it randomly shuts off. And this is the best internet that we can get. We have Starlink, um, which is really good. I mean, for country internet, but we did have um, a good local wireless company, but and that worked out okay. I mean, but the tower was on somebody's property here, my one of my neighbors over here, and he kept turning off the breaker, unplugging the tower. He got free internet, and I think he got a help with his power bill to run that thing, to have it on his tower, because it was on his property before he bought the property. But there's a long story. But anyways, they had to move the tower this year, but it was a year and a half of them just everybody randomly subjected to him shutting off the tower. So we were like, well, I'm just not gonna play that. We'll just pay the $700 or whatever to get Starlink, because I run a business here. I can't like not have internet. And so they finally, after a year and a half, moved the tower to one of my other neighbors across the street, because she was struggling the same issue. She works from home, and her company was like, you're going to have to drive in to town every day if you don't, get your internet, basically, I think she said. So, but they were like, well, now that we've moved the tower, will you come back? And I'm like, no, I've already invested all of this money and equipment. I'm not, coming back and then, whatever. So, but a year and a half, people were subjected to that. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to deal with that. So, yeah. Hi, Faith. And Lynn says, that's our internet too. We have a local company, weekends, no connection. That is just terrible. Like, we pay all of this money, and so many of us work from home or have home-based business, or, something like that. And we cannot be subjected to that sort of thing. I mean, that was one of the big things when we were trying to find a place to move, is that we had to have some sort of internet, decent internet, and we needed to have access to a post office pretty close, pretty nearby, and FedEx and UPS. So have to have those in town. And so I don't know. It's just a thing that happens, I guess. And what's funny is the last town that I lived in was one of the first. It's a very small town, one of the first towns to have iFiber, and everybody thought it was kind of crazy that we lived in this really small town and we had fiber optics internet, but we were like a test, one of the first test places in the country or something. So we had such stable internet and good internet, and it was so inexpensive. I pay triple the amount here for cruddy internet that I did there. So just I have found that living here has cost me at least double, triple of every single thing that it cost me in that other small town that we lived in, which kind of chaps my hide a little bit, honestly. But this is my husband's dream. I'm just trying to um, be supportive because he's supportive of mine. So, um, you know, uh, what else do we have going on? I'm like completely addicted to Mentos. I don't know. I love them. I'm trying to also eat everything in the refrigerator before we leave since we're going to be gone so long. So I've been trying to like plan all the meals out. So I have binding today, quilting, I have to go shipping. I have to write my newsletter. 2 newsletters, because one for the sew along. And so years ago, I made a quilt for a sew along, or maybe it was like a block of the month. It was like a Christmas thing, and my husband had outgrown all of his shirts. So I decided, I'll do one of those upcycling projects, because I see those all the time. And all of his shirts were like soft bits of plaid and, kind of all of these kind of dress shirts that he had that he wore to church or whatever. Well, I think even back then he wore them like way more than t-shirts or anything. But so then I decided to cut them up. Well, I hated the process of cutting all those shirts and then having to cut out the buttons. And it totally makes me appreciate going and buying yardage off the bolt. Excuse me. Because I am so glad that I don't have to make all of my quilts from old clothes, honestly. I mean, I think it's a good practice, but I did not enjoy the process, and this is a hobby. So I kept all of the shirts because I thought if I ever want to do anything with these again, then I have them, and I spent all that time cutting them. I'm going to use them at some point. And so I just have this little bin that just has those shirtings. And now that I have these grandkids coming, I thought grandsons. One is named Odin. He's going to be born any day now. We're waiting. I was hoping he would come before the cruise, but now I think he's going to be born when I'm on the cruise, which is really upsetting. And the other one is due in December, and his name is Raiden. And anyway, so I decided to make some baby quilts out of these shirtings. And so I finished one over the weekend. So I am Odin's nursery is is a forest theme with trees and that sort of thing. And I am also doing the lumberjack quilt for him, but I have not finished that yet. So, but I wanted to at least get one of them done, so I have to bind that today as well. Won't take me long. And then with Raiden, his nursery is going to be baby animals. So I'm going to do the Easter eggers blocks with the shirtings for that one because little baby animals, so cute. I find that really cute because my daughter-in-law, Malia, she didn't really grow up with dogs or like animals, and they really weren't on her radar. But my son that she married, Bryce, he is an animal lover. And so he always has like a dog and so he had a dog when they were dating. They still have the dog. But, and so now she's a total animal lover. They just adopted their third dog, and they have cats. And everything else. So she wants to adopt all of the dogs and have like a sanctuary. And so I think it's very sweet that their nursery is going to be baby animals, because now she has realized that she just really loves animals too. And so she's like one of us. She loves them. So very sweet. And Lynn says beautiful, and Rita says awesome, Charisma. Love it. Thank you. Just something sweet. It was one of those shirts that he wore when he was raising the kids until he outgrew them. And one of those shirts actually is one of his favorite shirts when we were dating. And so he wore it all the time. I have pictures of us together while he's wearing that shirt. And he outgrew that pretty quickly with regular home cooked meals. So it didn't last very long, honestly. And now he went to the doctor last week. Rob had a bad fall at work. My husband served in the military, and he got a back injury while he was in the military, and he's just kind of struggled with it for the last 25 years, honestly. And he's had multiple surgeries, and they've told us that at some point he will most likely end up in a wheelchair because of all of his back issues, which is why it's crazy that we are here on a homestead, because this was his dream. So I think he's sort of biding his time and doing the stuff that he wants to do before he does lose all of that, which to me is kind of scary. Like, I would say, let's not do this and preserve what you have, but he does not have that mindset. He wants to do what he wants to do while he can do it, which I understand both philosophies, but being on this side of it is a little bit scary to me. But he was working on something at work, and he's pretty intent on whatever he was working on. I think he was working on some breaker box or something. And when he went to go turn after working with that, his leg was completely numb. He didn't feel it and fell and kind of hurt his hip and body. And he went to the doctor the next day to get a referral to the neurologist and his back doctor, his orthopedic surgeon, so that they could maybe take a look to see what is going on. He will probably let that sort of thing go, but I would not. I told him I don't care if it's just a pinched nerve or whatever it is. I want it investigated, because we can't just let these things go when we already have been down this road many times. So he went, and when we get back from Alaska, he will go and start the process of getting the tests and, kind of exploring if something's going on or not. So, yeah, I know. Poor Rob. So I get a little worried about that stuff, because the two of us have to be functional to take care of this place. If one of us is down, it's I hurt my shoulder this year, and just my flower beds alone, I kind of neglected them outside. I really love doing outside work in my gardens and stuff, but with my shoulder being down, I was trying to preserve it as much as possible to work, and kind of let some of that go. So I don't know. Oh, sorry. Again, getting with the yawns Monday mornings. So, but I'm hoping that maybe also just having some rest on vacation. I don't get to rest, but he gets to rest. So, which I think is good. He won't have to go to work. He can sleep in. I'm not going to dictate his time for the most part, and he can just do whatever he wants to do. Sip Mai Tais by the pool. I don't know. He's not really that kind of guy, but well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think he'll sit around the pool, but he really does like girly drinks. So he will totally have a Mai Tai if he wants. Um, but yeah, I don't drink, so I don't know what anything is anyways, for the most part. So um geez. Well, other than that, do you guys have any questions? So check out the podcast if you haven't checked out the podcast. Sign up for the Little Pink Homestead sew along if you want to sew along. And don't forget that I won't be here for at least next week, probably 2 weeks. And I'll be posting a lot of pictures from my cruise. I'm kind of excited to go on it, but I haven't done a whole lot of research about it because I just frankly haven't had a lot of time. So I don't, we didn't sign up for any excursions or anything like that. And Lynn says, where is the podcast? It is Quilter on Fire. It's Brandy Maslowski. She, so you can probably just Google Quilter on Fire, but if you also go to my, Facebook, I posted a link last Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I also put it in my newsletter. So, if you, get the newsletter, the link is there. You can just click on the photo and it'll take you right to the podcast. It's number 169. Because I think she posts a new one every week. So a new one should be coming out tomorrow, I think. And Roger says the podcast interview was great. Thank you so much. I feel like I talked a whole lot, but so if you want to know a bit of my story, it's there. And what else? So binding, stitching, packing, quilting, that's sort of on my list. So and I made Rob we bought him a bunch of shorts and stuff, and some swim trunks because he has not had, I haven't seen him wear shorts like in the last 2 years because we've been working on the house. So all he wears is jeans. And he's gained a lot. Oh, I was telling you about his doctor's appointment because he's gained a lot of weight recently, and he was complaining that he needs to go on a diet. And so I'm like, okay, well, what do you need me to do to help you go on a diet? And he is like, well, I just need to not eat the treats and whatever. So I didn't make any desserts because he usually likes dessert. So I haven't been making desserts. But then every time I go into the house, I see like the M&M jar that we keep. It's just getting lower and lower. And then all of a sudden it was gone. And I was like, Rob, you told me not to make dessert, but then you're eating the M&Ms. Well, it was just a little bit. I'm like, that was like a Costco size jug of M&Ms that you polished off in 3 days. That's not like that's anyways. I mean, I don't care. It's really him. I'm not like shaming him in any way because I really just want him to be happy. So I just tell him, if he doesn't want me to make dessert, I won't make dessert. But if you're just gonna eat all of the candy, then it's not gonna help you. So, you gotta figure that out. Do you need me to hide the candy or what? So, anyway, so we bought him a bunch of shorts and swim trunks and shirts so that he would look decent on the cruise. And then he looked at the weather and he's like, why did I buy shorts and whatever? We're going to Alaska and it's cold there. And I'm like, well, it's not that cold, but he also doesn't realize we're going to be also on a ship and there's like indoor pools. So you can still use your swim trunks, and it'll be temperature controlled inside. So anyway, but yeah. So, and then I discovered I had to hurry up and buy a swimsuit on Amazon too, because I don't even know where mine are. I think they're still packed somewhere. So, I have not worn a swimsuit since we've moved here either, because we're always working on the house. We haven't done anything fun. So, yeah, it's kind of sad, honestly. Years, and we don't even know where half of our stuff is because we're still working. So, um, all right. So I'll let you guys go and we will catch up, and you can follow me on Instagram, and I'll be posting a lot of pictures of our cruise and the things that are going on. Hopefully, I did buy the internet package, so I'll at least be updating while I'm there. And I hope you guys have a great couple of weeks, and I can't wait to see you and catch up when I get back. All right, bye.